Hello, my name is Max and welcome to Tabletop Discussions. Something different today. So where's my head at? I'm trying to... I have a lot of things I want to say, but I'm trying to keep it straight, you know, on the verge of a bunch of paths. Basically, you've probably read the title of the video, but today's video was inspired by a recent package. These two games arrived. Solani and The Girl Who Made the Stars. The number 1 and number 2 game in the Pillars of Creation series by Final Frontier Games. When they release the 3rd and 4th game, I'm going to get those, and I'm going to take a talk about this, because only the 1 and 2 are already very interesting. But that's a different one, maybe a review or whatever. But why did that inspire a video about Kickstarter, which is of course on the title. Kickstarter and backing on Kickstarter and Kickstarter games. Well, because of my experience with it. This Kickstarter launched in 2020 and it's now 2023, 3 years later. A long wait to get this one. And in between that, I've backed a lot of projects. I've backed the complete collection. I've backed Casting Shadows, Distilled, just to mention some of the better games that I've backed. Many games. I'm backing right now my 70th campaign in those 3 years, and to me, that's kind of a loss. Right? Let me just divide that up. Right? In calculation here, just 7 divided by 3. So it's about 20 projects per year. It said 23, but considering a little bit into the 4th year, which is 2023, you know, 20, 21, 22, 23, it's about 20 games per year that I back on Kickstarter, plus the 20 or so games I buy next to it. That's not really true, but I've obviously backed a lot of games, and I think there's a few things within backing on Kickstarter, and I just kind of wanted to discuss my experiences and my opinions upon this. So one of the first Kickstarters I backed was actually a comic. Let's not talk about that one, but it was Trial by Trolley, a little game by the Explosion Entertainment guys. I no longer own that game. I no longer own any of those kinds of games, just because the place where I play, they have a copy of some game like that. It's a Danish game. They now have also Classic Humanity. It's like, I don't want to own it myself then. I don't play it enough on my own. That's the first one I backed, and I just backed the retail version. I thought that's fine. By me, I can, except I get the Kickstarter exclusive expansion. Awesome. That's what I need. And then they arrived, sort of, and all these people were showing the figurine they got and the mat they got, and I just had... I missed out, right? So everybody's always talking about FOMO, the fear of missing out. But I missed out. I experienced missing out. So when Here to Slay, right here, I hope you can see that, I believe you can see that on the camera, came, I went in and I got everything for the game. I went full FOMO and I got everything for the game because I missed out, and I don't want to do that again. I don't want to miss out again. So I backed it for everything, and then it has now arrived. And I've just learned that the meeples and the acrylic standees, well, I don't really use those. The dice sets, I only need 2 dice for the game, not all of those dice. So I've learned now that that wasn't necessary. It wasn't necessary for me to get everything. So now I've had pro experience within my first couple of Kickstarters. I experienced both missing out and the dark side of FOMO. What FOMO really leads to is a bunch of not usable stuff, and that's, you know, that's both sides. Because I think FOMO is based on a reality. We don't want to miss out. You know, you don't want to end up with a game that's worse, but at the same time, you don't want to end up with a game that's full of shit you don't need. And therefore, I think thinking about your FOMO, like centralizing. I mean, I've tried really worrying about what are parts of the game, or the parts of the gameplay, the actual gameplay that I'm going to use in that, are those parts of it, because then I probably want it. But if they're not, do I then really want it? And sometimes you buy, and I get decorative items and stuff. I have that as well, of course. I think that's completely different. But yeah, FOMO is a very real thing, and it's a lot of Kickstarters prey on that. you know, Kickstarter KSE, the green little KSE mark. Sometimes I've seen it once or twice be KE just, but sometimes it's K as E, usually. Kickstarter exclusive. Plastered on, all over the site. Kickstarter exclusive, Kickstarter exclusive, Kickstarter exclusive. What I would always recommend is, if there's a retailer pledge, usually a retail pledge at $40, and then there's a $45 Kickstarter exclusive version, get the $35 one. Spend those $5 extra. That's the minimum, I would say. Don't ever get the retailer version from the Kickstarter. The $45 is the same game, but there's probably like an expansion with it or something. That's usually the thing. Or some extra cards. And you are probably going to get the Kickstarter exclusive stuff that's going to be released. My opinion would always get that one. The all-in pledge that are going to be, this $45 game, which has a $149 probably all-in pledge. Do you want to get that? Well, that's the big question, and that's where FOMO really gets in. For me, usually, if I really want the game, I'm gonna get the big one. I'm gonna get everything. Casting Shadows is an example. The difference between Hero Slaying and Casting Shadows is everything I got I use in gameplay wise, and it enhances the gameplay. It just does, right? But I would always say get the Kickstarter exclusive version. If you're gonna back the game on Kickstarter, get the Kickstarter exclusive version. It's stupid not to. You don't have to go all in, getting absolutely everything. Then you can go in and talk about the FOMO. You know, how much of it do you actually need? How much do you feel like you're going to miss out on? And sure, there's a lot of people on there that have FOMO, and maybe they just back the Kickstarter exclusive version, get a few Kickstarter exclusive things, and then say, why would you need to back it at the $150 pledge or $149, which it usually is, to get everything extra? I just got the Kickstarter exclusive expansion and the playmats. I'm good. Okay, good for you. I think a lot of those people have not missed out like I did, and I think you need to miss out at one point. But I wouldn't want that. I wouldn't want anyone to miss out, but I feel like you need to miss out to really understand FOMO. Now, I think it's a bit different from not backing a Kickstarter. We'll talk about it a little bit in a second. But yeah, you need to miss out to truly understand how FOMO gets in. How you always just get this feeling of, shit, I'm not as good. I don't have as cool a thing. I want a cool thing. And that's what they prey on in Kickstarters. But at the same time, I think it's made me more knowledgeable. When I go in and I look and I think, okay, what do I actually want in the game? I usually do go quite all in, so to speak, just because I wouldn't say I prefer it, but it's just that I prefer to have the things like playmats. I want playmats. Metal coins, I'm gonna need those. I'm gonna need those upgraded pots, because you might as well go luxury on your games, in my opinion, but you don't have to do it. And I think it's important to find your own base level. What is things that you don't want to miss out on? You know, that's an important thing. And to really learn that, you have to miss out on them, I think. But I wouldn't want anyone to miss out. That's the big thing. You need to miss out to understand what it means to miss out, and to understand what it is that you really want in a game. Because I have backed some Kickstarter exclusive stuff and then missed the exclusive sleeves or the exclusive star player thing or whatever, and I felt nothing. I don't need those. But I have missed out on the figurines that are part of the gameplay, the bigger mats that's part of the gameplay. I missed out on those, and I felt so like, fuck, I wanted those. So I've sort of learned where my space is. And I think you need to miss out to really understand that. But that's my talking about FOMO. I don't know if I've said anything really about FOMO, the fear of missing out. It is there, it's always there, and they prey upon it. But to really understand what you have a fear of missing out on, you're gonna have to miss out on it. And I don't think you should miss out on anything that you really want, if you have the money for it. But if you don't, then well, anyways, let's move on to what's the next talking point is the dangers of Kickstarter. I just talked about waiting 3 years, basically 4, maybe 3, for a game. And is there a way I could learn about that? Well, I could have checked up on their other previous campaigns and learned, but this is the 3rd campaign in the row of campaigns that need to be delivered. They're not ready to deliver this one. So, yeah. But do you really know it? Well, you can, right? Well, this was in 2020. I could have told myself, because this was after a certain thing, so I could have told myself, well, that thing's gonna be delayed. But of course, then you have the Suez Canal thing that delays it. You can never predict it. But be aware. Be aware. Look into the companies. I think this campaign learned me to look a little bit into the companies. If don't know the companies, or a lot of people aren't talking about the companies, look a little bit into them. Do a little Google research. I don't care if you go to Wikipedia or their own homepages, you know, you just quickly looked and seen where these things at. Maybe you look and they have this previous Kickstarter. Well, let's look at that one and see where is that along. Be vigilant and check out. I think that's important to check out on the companies just to be sure. Some companies like with the Shem Phillips company. I can't remember what it's called. Garfield game or Garfield Games. Right down here. That's what they call. That was the one that has a great reputation. Everybody talks about. Well, they deliver. They come out with it. They don't have any Kickstarter exclusive things. They're great. Unstable Games is one that I back a lot, and I've backed, given them a lot of my money. But I also love their games, obviously, and they deliver. So these are games that these are companies that I know deliver. Final Frontier Games, I didn't know anything about them, and then they have this mess up, so to speak, and I missed out, you know. I don't even know if the third or fourth game is on, because I don't think I'm following them, so I might actually have missed out on those. Oh god, I'm gonna have to do a Google search after this video. But yeah, be vigilant about the companies. I think is important. Check it out. And then there's the big thing about the amount of money you spend. And I think there's a lot of people out there who have a series about not backing. Right? It's not worth it. There's the guy who does 5 reasons not to back. I can't remember what his thing is. I'll leave a link in the comments or something. Not in the comments, but in the description. Just to go to. I think he makes good videos. What is his name? The channel name? I always just search for 5 reasons not to back. I can't remember what his freaking channel name is. He always runs the Words of Board Gaming video YouTube channel. He's a great guy. He makes some great content. But the 5 reasons not to back. Well, 5 reasons I won't back or something. It's these videos that are laid up to be like, don't back this game, and it's a lot of the time it's too expensive. That's not for anyone else to decide. As I said, I backed the Complete Collection, $215 I think. The Casting Shadows one, that was $149 for the game. I backed a little bit extra, got a few extra things, but that was like $149 for the base game. Just backed Command of Nature, the next one from them, also like $149. Actually, no, the Casting Shadows is $249. This one's $149. And again, these are sure expensive. That's probably some people thinking, how can you afford that? It's mental. Well, sure, I can afford that in series. Right now, I wouldn't shell out $249 for a game right here, right now, because I've just shelled out $149. That's fucking stupid. Anyways, but yeah, our situations are different, and therefore the money should not be the main. Well, it should be the main factor, but just because it's expensive, you shouldn't say I don't want to back it. Sure, a $40 game can be as great as a $100 game. But in the end, it's not the money that's 100% part. Like, sure, if you can't afford it, don't do it. But if you can afford it, it's your decision. I don't want to say do it or don't do it. You should check out the game, check out the company, find reviews videos. Something like Unstable Games are really good at having a few videos and some live streams go up. Check out those things if you want to. That's the important thing for me is your own decision. These reasons not to back. And you have Board Game Co. who does. They look at the month of July of board games coming out there, and he also starts that off with Cult of the Now, which I think is great. Cult of the New, that's another thing I'm going to talk about in just a second. But he also constantly talks about value. What's the value of the game? You know, how are you going to get your value back? Again, that shouldn't be the reason you back a board game. Sure, you could maybe have at the back of your mind of like, if I don't like this game, will I get my money back? My opinion is, I'm going to back this game it's June right now. We're going to make this game in June. The money withdrawn from June, I put it into my budget, put it in, make sure that like it doesn't mess me up financially, which hopefully this one didn't. For example, Command of Nature, I just backed that at $149 right now this June. That didn't screw me over financially. I could afford that, it was fine. I backed it, and I paid the money here in June. Those money have now disappeared from my account. And when I get it next year, around I would imagine it's about going to be around June, July, maybe August if it's a bit delayed, because they're usually pretty good. So when it arrives there, it's a new year. It's a new accounting year for me. I count from January to December and nothing beyond that. I don't have the company at once, right? So my account has been made up for the year 2023, and I've spent those money. That's how it goes. This is how much money I spent. And I usually look at it and go, where do I need to spend less? Because I always try to spend less. And then we start 2024, the accounting year. So if I sell the game, and let's say I get it in July, and then I played a couple times probably, and I've realized I don't like this game. I'm gonna sell it in freaking November. Then I sell it, maybe I bought it for 149, I might sell it for 90 bucks, right? It's just hypothetical. So have I lost $60? Well, not in my budget. My budget, I spent the money here, and I gained the money here. So it's just a gain of $60 in the accounting year of 2024. And sure, it's a loss of 149 in 2023, but I don't compare the numbers. I only actually do it on some Kickstarters where I'm trying to sell them cheaper. And just make sure how much money did I actually spend. Okay, great, sell for that. And shipping to me is never calculated. Shipping just can't be calculated. Shipping, that's just money out the fucking window. And that's just how it is with shipping. So I really think, only looking at the money, and just, it's expensive, don't back it. You can't get your money back, don't back it. That's a stupid reason not to back something. I backed Command of Nature and I backed Casting Shadows because I like unstable games. I like a lot of the games. Like, I have an entire shelf of their games, and I can't point to a game on this shelf right here, even Happy Little Dinosaurs is missing, that I don't like, that I wouldn't happily pull off the shelf and play with anyone. I can't do that because I like all of the games. So I backed Casting Shadow and Command of Nature now, not to sell it on for a profit, but because I want a good game to play. For me, board games is never ever going to be an investment. All in money, right? It's going to be an investment in time. This is where you then, maybe you can do the math and go, okay, well, how much time am I going to get for it? Am I going to get only a 3-hour gameplay for this $150? That's $50 per hour. That's pretty expensive. So far, Casting Shadow, haven't really played that much, but it's new. We're playing it quite a few times. But that's where it is. My cousin actually had a very interesting hypothesis, is how many working hours would it cost you to afford the game, right? How many hours do I have to work before I can afford this game? And then you, well, he wasn't talking about board games because he doesn't play board games. But then I came in with the response of, okay, well, if I didn't buy a board game, if I need to get that time back. And I think that's a good idea to look at that. If you're American, ignore this step. I know 30 hours, that's way too much. I actually don't know how much for Command of Nature. I've completely forgotten that advice. But I think it's decent advice. Are you going to play that amount of hours or more? Because then you have one. If you're going to play less than that, then you can look at reimbursement, right? You're going to say, okay, I played this for 5 hours. It cost me fucking 150 just because I'm lacking something. So if I sell it for $30, I'm even, but I can probably sell it for 60, 70, and then you have a gain, and you have a net gain due to the hours spent. That's a good way of looking at it, rather than just saying base numbers, because there's so much in this. So that's my my opinion on the price, is that it shouldn't decide everything if you can afford it. If you can't afford it, don't fucking buy it. That's very simple. And I have said, like Earth, that came out earlier this year, I really wanted to back that, but at the time there was another project that I would rather back. I couldn't back both, and I backed this one because it was cheaper and sounded a little bit more interesting. Now Earth has come out, I've seen it, oh my god, I want it, I regret not backing it. Sort of a fear of missing out coming into play there, but I couldn't afford it. So it's sort of out of my hands because I could not really afford it, realistically. So don't back it if you can't afford it. But money shouldn't be everything. Also think about the time. I think that's important. Think about the money you spend, think about the time you're going to spend. Most importantly, think, am I going to like this game? Because even if, like, something like, oh, I'm struggling to find one right now that we don't play a lot. I guess, what's it called? Yeah, War Chest. I just backed the expansion for this one. I'm not going to talk loud because my fiance doesn't know. But a War Chest. I've played this 2 times, but I really, really like this game. So I'm happy spending a little bit extra on it to play it a few more times because I really, really like this game. For some games, sure. But think about the time, think about the money, but think about, are you getting a project you're going to like? Because then in the end it shouldn't matter. So that's that, and what was the next thing to talk about? I can't remember already. Man, money and the FOMO and yeah. and patiently waiting. The most important thing I think is as I said, 70. I looked at it when it was 65 or so, and I just realized, holy shit. Counted up, oh my god, I got 30 games coming. I remember that saying that once. I got 38 games coming. I've already received 5 of these. I got 38 games coming. And I panicked, I don't have room on my shelf. So that's a thing I've learned to do, and I'm still bad at it, I will admit. Thinking about the amount of games that are coming, right? Like when I thought about this earlier this year, but now so many of the games have been delayed even more. But I was thinking around March or so I was going to be receiving 10, 11, 12 packages of games. I was like, holy shit, that's a lot. I've ended up receiving 5 or 6 of those now, and some being even further delayed, unfortunately, yeah. So that's the thing. Think about how many games you have coming. Cause all of a sudden it's a lot. All of a sudden there's so much. Man. So yeah. I like to think that I've become more vigilant in not backing a bunch of games now that I know more what my taste is. I know not to back these silly card games like the recent one from Explosion Entertainment. The reason it was like last year. So I didn't back that one because I just realized I'm not gonna like this one. And these simple card games, I don't like them. I'm not going to enjoy this one anymore. And I think I've gotten good at that. FOMO, again, I know what I will be okay missing out on, and I know what I really want, you know. And patience in looking at how many Kickstarters I've come. I've gotten better at that. I've gotten better at realizing that. But sometimes a Kickstarter comes around, you gotta back it, you really want it. But in the end, like, this is just my opinions on it, what I think. Anyone watching this, and again, no hate to the guy who makes 5 reasons not to back it. I'm gonna link it to Board Game Co. I also mentioned. No hate to these guys. That's their opinion, and they are totally entitled to their opinion. And I think they make great videos. I still watch a lot of their videos because I think they're great. So definitely go check those guys out on those videos. You know, no hate for them. We just have different opinions, and that's okay. Yeah, I would love to hear some other opinions on these things. But anyways, thank you for watching this episode of Tabletop Discussions. I hope it made sense. I hope it was cohesive. I have forgotten to talk about something, I'm sure. But hey, thank you for watching. Bye.